Strangers were moving into my house. Me house and Lisa stood on my porch, grinning like she'd just won the lottery because, apparently, she'd sold it while I was away. The cops were already there to escort me off the property, everyone assuming I was finished. What they didn't know was that the real deed was never in my name to begin with, and that wasn't even the real twist. I wish I could say this was some dramatic mix-up that I'd come back from a vacation to find a simple paperwork error. But no, this was Lisa, HOA president, a walking stereotype of neighborhood tyranny, clutching her clipboard like a royal decree and treating every garden gnome like a personal affront. I'd been gone 6 weeks, off-grid in the Rockies, no cell service, no Wi-Fi, just me, the trees, and silence. While I was out there, breathing pine air and ignoring property lines, Lisa decided my house looked too empty for her taste. So there I was, duffel bag still over my shoulder, watching a family I'd never met haul boxes into my levying room while Lisa sipped a mimosa from a mug that read, "Boss Lady." The police, summoned by her of course, were calmly explaining that, per her documents, this was now her property, or rather, the property of the sweet couple she'd sold it to. That's when it sank in. She genuinely thought she'd pulled it off. She figured I'd show up, get mad, maybe sulk, then slink away in defeat while she cashed in and added another notch to her suburban empire. The scariest part? That smug grin of hers wasn't from a one-time stunt, it was the look of someone who'd done this before. I didn't shout or argue. I just locked eyes with her, tilted my head, and asked, "Did you check the basement?" She blinked, thrown off for a split second, then smirked. "You mean that cluttered storage space?" "Yeah, we cleared it out days ago. There was a safe, but it was empty." She leaned in with a patronizing whisper, "You really should take better care of your stuff, hon." That hon was the last gasp of a woman who thought she'd won. The cops, still thinking this was a sad misunderstanding, asked if I had proof of ownership. I said no, not on me, not anymore. I told them if they dug into the title history, they'd find something curious, but it wouldn't matter today. I just needed a spot for my bag. So I turned and walked to Mrs. Evelyn's house down the street. Evelyn was 82, sharp as a blade, and had watched the whole fiasco from her porch with sweet tea and binoculars, like it was a playoff game. "Did she really just kick you out of your own place?" she asked as I plopped onto her porch swing. "No," I said, grinning. "She kicked herself out. She just doesn't know it yet." 3 months earlier, Lisa wasn't even on the HOA board, just a nosy neighbor with too much time and too many complaints. Then Mr. Thompson, the old president, had a heart attack and stepped down. Lisa pounced, promising order and community standards. Within weeks, she'd rammed through new bylaws targeting undesirables, aka anyone she didn't like. I was her first mark. My grass was too tall, my fence too beige, my truck too rugged. Fines piled up. Violation notices arrived weekly. She was trying to break me. But here's the thing, I'm quietly, humbly, viciously petty when pushed. And I knew how to outmaneuver a control freak like her. Before my trip I'd prepped. Call it foresight or paranoia. I'd moved my legal papers to a private storage unit, rerouted my mail to a P.O. box in another town, and most crucially, transferred my property deed to a family trust 2 years ago. That trust was a fortress layered with legal protections and managed by a real estate lawyer who lived to shred HOA tyrants. Back then it felt excessive. Now, it was slow-brewed revenge. Lisa thought I was some loner tech geek. She didn't know I'd worked in cybersecurity fraud detection specifically. I knew how scams ticked and, better yet, how they fell apart. So while she played her little game with fake deeds and sketchy notaries, I was steps ahead with email trails, timestamps, and me favorite hidden cameras. Inside the house, outside, and best of all in the basement, right where that empty safe sat. The second she cracked it open, a sensor tripped, and the footage was backed up in 4 places before she even called the movers. She thought she found some HOA loophole about abandoned homes. She hadn't followed the legal steps, though, and even if she had, the trust wasn't. I'd paid taxes, utilities, even donated to a dog shelter last month. Not abandoned. Not even close. From Evelyn's porch, I heard the moving truck beep as it backed into my driveway. The young couple unloading furniture had no clue what they'd stepped into. I didn't fault them, they were pawns like me. No, this was all Lisa. She was about to learn she'd picked the wrong target. I pulled out my phone, opened an encrypted app and fired off 3 emails. One to my lawyer, one to the county assessor, and one to a real estate fraud investigator I'd met at a tech conference years back. The best part? I wasn't going to stop her yet. Let her think she'd won, let her repaint, rekey, post VY Tory selfies. I'd give her a few days, enough rope to tie her own noose. Then I'd yank the floor out from under her. As Lisa posed for a selfie by the house with a sold sign sparkle filter, and Allie noticed something odd. In the background stood a man I didn't know, tall, gray blazer, manila folder in hand, staring right at me with a calculated smile. Not at Lisa, at me. Suddenly, this wasn't just her power trip anymore. It was bigger. He nodded once, tucked the folder under his arm, and turned back toward the house like he already knew the ending. For the first time, I felt a flicker of doubt. Lisa was a pest, but this guy? He moved like someone who owned the game, not just played it. If he was in on this, either Lisa was a puppet or she was sharper than I'd thought. Either way, it was a wrinkle I didn't like unless I was the one folding it. I spent the rest of the day quiet, no posts, no fights. Let them settle in, hang curtains, unpack. I made a few calls, not to strike but to load the cannon. My attorney Sam was thrilled. He's the type who doesn't flinch at Din's housing codes. When I laid it out, fake sale, forged papers, HOA pres playing landlord, cackled. Sam doesn't cackle. Give it 3 days, he said. Let them paint something. Then we go full scorched earth. The next morning I strolled the neighborhood, casual, not sneaky. Lisa waved from my old driveway like we were pals. Oh, you're still here, she chirped. Hope you're finding somewhere cozy. I nodded and kept walking, no point in snapping when the trap was set. But I noticed something. Neighbors avoided my gaze. Some waved awkwardly. Others peeked through blinds like I was a specter. Lisa had spun a tale, abandonment, legal mumbo-jumbo, maybe even hinted I was unhinged. Classic move, control the story, bury the facts. But cracks showed. Evelyn wasn't buying it, nor was Tom, the mechanic 2 doors down who'd once fixed my breaker box in a storm. He gave me a curt nod, like he wasn't sure whose side to pick but might jump ship if the wind shifted. That afternoon I rewatched the basement footage. Lisa and a locksmith had pried open the safe, squealed when she found the papers. Old titles, personal records, fake investment docs I'd whipped up on my old laptop, just sloppy enough to snag a legal eye. She'd waved one like a prize. The locksmith looked antsy good. Nervous sidekicks spill fast under pressure. Then there was the paper trail. Lisa had used a shady traveling notary. A woman named Carla, paid cash, no ID required. Sloppy. I sent that to Sam, who traced the withdrawal to Lisa's account. She'd gone quick and dirty, but quick and dirty crumbles in court. What bugged me, though, was the gray blazer guy. No name yet, just a blurry photo I'd snapped while pretending to text. Facial recognition found zilch, no social media, no real estate license. A ghost. Either he was a recluse or he had juice to erase his tracks. I sent the pic to an old cybersecurity buddy who owed me one and had access to deep databases. I'll see what sticks, he said. But if this is big, watch your step. That night, I crashed at a cheap motel, bleach fumes and regret, but solid Wi-Fi and solitude. I needed to think. Lisa had overstepped, sure, but what if she wasn't solo? What if Blazer Guy had grander schemes? Real estate scams aren't new. Some HOAs cozy up with shady developers, flipping properties under legal loopholes, laundering cash through quiet sales. Maybe my house wasn't a random grab, it was a target. On day 3, I saw Lisa back at it, clipboard out, barking at movers. The couple, Mark and Jen, looked frazzled. Mark kept checking his phone. Jen seemed ready to bolt. I strolled up, casual, and said, "Hey, quick question." Lisa swooped in like a hawk. "You're not allowed here." "I'll call the cops." Mark frowned. "Wait, I thought you said he was gone." Lisa hissed. "He doesn't own this. He's trespassing." I ignored her and looked at Jen. Did she explain the low price? The abandoned bit? Did you see the title before buying? Mark glanced at his phone. "No, actually. She said it was in processing." I nodded. "It's not. It doesn't exist. She never owned it." Lisa turned scarlet. "You've got no proof. This is harassment." I smiled. "Not harassment, just a heads up. You bought a stolen house. Fraud investigation starts next week. Maybe rethink those boxes." Jen looked sick. Mark stepped back. Lisa yelled, but I was already gone. The seed was soundly dig now. That night, my cyber buddy emailed, one line, no subject. "Don't mess with this guy. Ex-offshore ID ops in Miami. Quiet now but connected." Attached was a photo. Blazer guy with a senator, both grinning. It should have rattled me more, but it felt like validation. This wasn't just Lisa, she was too loud, too messy. Someone like him didn't back amateurs unless there was a bigger play. And that made it fun. Lisa cared about looking good. Real players cared about winning. Push them, they slip. All I had to do was nudge them into panic. For 48 hours I did no thing, no calls, no filings, no posts. Silent. In that void, their paranoia grew. On day 5, Sam called, half irritated, half amused. Most folks would be storming the courthouse by now. I said, that's what they expect. Then I asked about the notary. He laughed. Carla Evans. 3 transfers in 4 months, all HOA zones, all cash, all ghost buyers. Guess who hired her every time? I didn't need to. It was Lisa or her puppet master. Sam had an injunction ready, but I held off. I wanted to know why my house. It wasn't prime real estate, middle class, aging, unremarkable. Then it hit me, that was the point. Boring properties don't draw eyes. Perfect for laundering money through quiet flips, maybe overseas. My house wasn't a trophy, it was a tool. And since it was in a trust they couldn't crack, I was a problem they thought they could erase. They were wrong. By week's end, Mark and Jen were cracking. Mark paced, yelling into his phone. Jen wouldn't meet my eyes. I sent them an anonymous tip reel title history, forged docs, trust filings, Lisa's basement break-in footage. No threats, just facts. 12 hours later, the moving truck returned stuff going out. Lisa screamed, trying to stop them. Mark slammed the truck door and peeled off. Jen didn't look back. Now it was just Lisa alone in a toxic shell. That night, I greenlit Sam. Within 12 hours he filed the injunction, freezing all trust-related claims. Next morning, Lisa got a summons delivered by a process server dressed as a pizza guy. She opened the door expecting food and got served. She tried to slam it, yelling harassment. It didn't stick. The court date was a week out, but the fun started sooner. A local reporter caught wind keywords like fraud, forged notary, HOA scam lit up his radar. His article, HOA pres accused of selling occupied home while owner camped, hit Reddit. It exploded. Lisa's name trended. Her Facebook got dug up. A video of her claiming the house was abandoned racked up 400,000 views. Neighbors who'd ghosted me started texting apologies. One ex-board member sent old emails of Lisa plotting to clean up the street with abandonment rules. The night before court, I watched from a block away. Lisa paced the yard, yelling into her phone, frazzled, wild. Then a black SUV rolled up, silent. A Sunat Blazer guy, but same aura, handed her an envelope. She stared at it like it was poison, then froze as he drove off. Whatever it wasn't good. In court, Sam dropped the bomb, forged deed trails, Carla's FIDA VYT, basement footage, and a ledger showing Lisa double-sold the house, one buyer Mark, the other a shell company tied to Blazer guy. Lisa went pale. Her lawyer, a twitchy HOA hack, flailed. The judge cut in. This isn't civil anymore. Grayson. Get criminal counsel. Now. He reversed the sale, upheld the trust, and froze HOA assets. Lisa tried claiming she was duped, but the judge handed her a public defender's number. Ouch. Outside, Sam grinned. Tacos now or after her indictment? I said we'd wait. Lisa was down, but Blazer guy was still free. I don't let people who torch my life walk away. The news didn't wait me soundbite. Maybe HOA shouldn't treat owners like tenants, went viral. The HOA imploded, board quit, charter dissolved. Lisa sued me for emotional distress, claiming I framed her. Sam countered with defamation and a psych eval request. She dropped it fast. Then her house foreclosed, bank ditched her after fraud charges. I had Sam buy it through an LLC cheap. When she saw me on its porch, she lost it. I raised my coffee mug. Welcome back. She begged once, claiming she was misled. I gave her 60 seconds, then said, you broke in, sold my house, forged papers. You only helped Sam's career. Door shut. Weeks later, planting flowers, Evelyn brought me a sweater. Not today, Lisa, in red stitches. I wore it watering the lawn. Neighbors waved. One brought cookies. Taking down an HOA tyrant made me a local hero. But then a letter, Aravedno sender. Inside, a photo, Blazer guy at another development, with you stopped one scrawled on back. A warning? A taunt? Either way, it confirmed Lisa was a pawn. The real game was bigger. So I stay in my house quiet now with upgraded cameras and a tougher trust. Lisa's kind don't vanish, they adapt. And the suits behind them? They don't stop unless you force them. I'm ready. Next time I won't just trap the pawn, I'll take the king.